Sir Isaac Newton, the man who discovered gravity, the man who invented calculus, the man who unlocked the secrets of the optics and the laws of motion. It is not an exaggeration to say he was one of the most intelligent human beings to ever walk the earth. If you asked anyone in the 1700s who is the smartest man alive, they would point to him. So, you would assume that a man with this level of brain power would be a genius with money, right? You would assume he could calculate risk better than anyone. You would be wrong. Dead wrong. In the year 1720, the genius who figured out how the universe works lost almost his entire life savings in a financial scam. He was wiped out, not because he was stupid, but because he was human. Today we are going to tell the story of the South Sea Bubble, the event that humbled the greatest mind in science and proved that IQ has nothing to do with financial IQ. Today we have different names for it. We call them meme stocks, we call them shitcoins. But the game is the same. We see the price go up, we see our neighbors getting rich, and we turn off our brains. If the man who invented calculus could lose everything to FOMO, do you think you are immune? Next time you feel that urge to buy something just because the price is going up, remember Sir Isaac Newton, and remember that sometimes the smartest move is to do nothing. I'm Finance Epics. See you in the next collapse. The year is 1711. London. Great Britain has a problem. It has a massive national debt caused by endless wars. The government owes millions, and they don't know how to pay it back. So, the politicians come up with a creative solution. They create a company, the South Sea Company. The deal was simple. This company would take on the government's debt. In exchange, the government gave them a monopoly on trading with the South Seas, which meant South America. It sounded amazing. South America was filled with gold, silver, and exotic goods. The British public imagined ships returning to London filled with treasure. Everyone was going to get rich. There was just one tiny problem. South America was owned by Spain, and Britain was at war with Spain. The South Sea Company had no ships. They had no trade deals. They had no business. It was a company that sold nothing but hope. But facts don't matter when the hype train leaves the station. The directors of the company were masters of marketing. They bribed politicians with free shares. They spread rumors of peace treaties with Spain. The stock price started to move. In January 1720, a share cost £128. By March, it was £330. London went insane. Dukes, maids, scientists, poets, everyone was buying South Sea stock. And this is where our hero Isaac Newton enters the story. Newton was a wealthy man. He was the master of the Royal Mint. He understood money better than most. He looked at the South Sea Company, did the math, and invested. Newton bought in early, and like a disciplined investor, when the stock went up, he sold. He pocketed a profit of roughly £7,000. In today's money, that is millions of dollars. He did exactly what you're supposed to do. Buy low, sell high, take the profit. He walked away a winner. He felt good. He felt smart. He watched from the sidelines, content with his wealth. But then, the most dangerous emotion in finance kicked in. FOMO, the fear of missing out. After Newton sold, the stock didn't stop. It kept going up. £400, £500, £600. It defied gravity, something Newton knew a lot about. Newton watched his friends, people who were infinitely less intelligent than him, becoming frantically rich. He watched people he considered idiots making fortunes overnight, while he sat on the sidelines with his small profit. There is a saying in investing. There is nothing so disturbing to one's well-being and judgment as to see a friend get rich. It ate him alive. Logic whispered, "This is a bubble," but envy screamed, "You are missing out." By the summer, the stock hit £700, then £800. Newton couldn't take it anymore. The psychological pressure broke him. He decided to get back in. He didn't just buy a little bit. He went all in. He took his original capital, plus his profits, plus money he borrowed, and he dumped it all back into South Sea stock. He bought near the absolute peak. He bought when the mania was at its wildest. At this point, other bubble companies were popping up in London. There was literally a company that raised money for, and I quote, "an undertaking of great advantage, but nobody to know what it is." People invested in that. That is how crazy the times were. But Newton felt relieved. He was back in the game. He was going to ride this rocket to the moon. And then gravity took over. In September 1720, the music stopped. The leadership of the company started secretly selling their own shares. News leaked that the trade deals with Spain were fake. Panic spread like a virus. The stock crashed from £1,000 to £150 in less than a month. There were no buyers, only sellers. Everyone was rushing for the exit at the same time. The door was too small. Newton watched in horror as his fortune evaporated. He didn't sell on the way down, hoping it would bounce back. It never did. It was a total wipeout. When the dust settled, Sir Isaac Newton had lost £20,000. In today's value, that is roughly $4 to $5 million. It was nearly everything he had. The smartest man in England was virtually broke. The bubble destroyed the economy. There were suicides in the streets of London. The Postmaster General poisoned himself. Lords and ladies were reduced to poverty. But for Newton, the pain was double. Because he knew he should have known better. He had surrendered his intellect to the mob. For the rest of his life, Newton was so traumatized by this event that he forbade anyone from speaking the words South Sea in his presence. If you said South Sea near him, he would kick you out of the room. But Newton left us with one final discovery. Not a mathematical formula, but a psychological one. After the crash, he famously said, "I can calculate the motions of heavenly bodies, but not the madness of people." This is the lesson of the South Sea bubble. Being smart doesn't make you a good investor. In fact, being smart can be a disadvantage because you think you can outsmart the market. Markets are not driven by math. They are driven by fear and greed. And those are forces of nature that even Isaac Newton couldn't control.